Hello.
Hey.
Froggy. I was messing with my camera, doing where do you live? So now it's all out of whack. Let me get that fixed. There we go.
I missed those 3 little people on that video.
I know.
They're not so little anymore.
When kids grow up, it's like you lose those people.
Yeah. I mean, they're still gangsters. They're still fun like that. So
yeah. Remember that Straight Outta Kempton I did instead of Compton?
Oh my God. You just made their life so enjoyable that weekend. And then they thought that every time I travel, I get that kind of treatment. I was like, yeah, that's not real life. That's Robin life.
That's Robin life. So I'm going to start off with just saying hello to some people. We got James Aaron Smith in the house. He's my moderator extraordinaire. He's the fastest gun in the West with the links and whatnot. We've got Miss Lucinda Foster. Hi, Lucinda. And Amy Jo Melrose. Hello, hello. Paul Guerra, she's actually in the UK. We got June. She's a sweetheart. Hi, June. Still early yet. We've got Bobby in the house. We've got Fat Man the Flipper. I'm actually going to be on his show this evening. The Bad Boys Are Reselling at 9 o'clock Eastern. A lot of lives today. That'll make 3 in one day. Woo! We got this nut. It's weird not having her on the screen. We're actually able to talk and get a word in edgewise. Sorry, Donna. You don't know this. Anyway, we got Steph's Universe. And we've got T, which is Donna's counterpart in the auctions. We've got Marie in the house. We've got Tiffany, Eat Sleep Amazon. We got Miss Jennifer Hayes and her red lipstick. And Betty Webb. Lisa's Liquidations. Junk. I was going to say, I don't know Lisa's, but I do. That's Junk Eliminator. She changed her name. Hey, Lisa. And we've got April Morris. Now, she's famous for being able to count. So when Donna puts her lots together and say she's got 25 pairs of socks, she gets to talking and she kind of loses count. So this one will sit in the chat and count as she goes. And that way we know how many items are in each lot. And we've got Miss Granny Doe. And I think I said, thanks, Robin, I'm blue. What she means by that is if you have a wrench, it's kind of a moderator wrench. But in my chat, I like to make everybody have a wrench. And that way everybody's equal. All right, we said our hellos, and I'm sure people will start trickling in as they get the notifications that we're live. So how are you?
Are you talking to me or everyone?
I am talking to you. I am talking to you. You're on my show. They're not.
Yeah, all things considered, I'm doing well. I did not travel for a few days, which is unexpected, but somewhat welcome.
Yeah. So where are you currently?
I'm currently in a house on Lake Michigan. It's a little town called Saugatuck.
Saugatuck. That's fun to say.
Yeah, it is fun to say.
So you're in Michigan. You're from the Ann Arbor area, correct?
Yeah, that's my real home.
Susan's saying, what about me? Don't forget me. Don't forget me. Don't forget me. There you go, Susan. There's Susan.
Hi, Susan.
She's my arch nemesis. We don't like Susan. I'm just kidding. Anyway, yes. So, and there's the other one, Miss Ronnie G. She's a mess, but we love her. And Christine. Hello, Christine. Yeah. So these are some wonderful people I'm flashing on my screen. They're pretty amazing. So yeah, so you're in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you travel a lot for work, correct?
I do pretty much Sunday to Friday every week.
Right. In 20 words or less. Just kidding. What do you do?
What do I do? I help plan health systems across the United States and Canada and plan all their facilities and how they run. So hospitals, ambulatory clinics, doctors' offices, whatever.
So fun fact, when I used to live in more in towards Dallas, the city of Dallas, there was a building that was being resurrected as I lived there. And I would take pictures of it. You probably saw it in the trailer. I would take pictures of it every day. I don't know why, but I was just, drawn to it. And then a couple years later, I get a job at a hotel, and this one walks in, and guess who's helping design that hospital that I was taking pictures of? So serendipitous. Yeah. So, I mean, that's crazy. Small world.
Yeah, I spent 8 years of my life at that hospital. So shout out to Parkland. That was the largest project in the country at the time. And it's started in the middle of the recession. So it was a really interesting time to be in the DFW area.
Yeah, it's a beautiful hospital. So another fun fact, Parkland Hospital, the original Parkland Hospital is where they brought JFK when he was shot.
Number 10.
To give you guys a kind of an idea of the area. But yeah, you would come to the hotel with your group every once in a while. I've given you free rein to talk about my hotel antics. So if you have any stories you want to pull out, anything like that, you feel free to do that.
Well, sure. So our whole team was afraid of you, Robin. And I was not. But I was like, wow, this is someone with a tough exterior. I think I can crack this. But I was often in a bad mood by the time I got to the hotel because it was always after a really long night.
Yeah.
But you turned out to be the best friend of everyone on our team. The confidant, the prankster.
Me? No. Like what?
And we sort of saw Robin and then like hotel administration. We saw them as separate, even though they were sort of all the same. But we tried to advocate for Robin, who let us do things, well, pretty much anything we wanted. The pool after hours, wine when it wasn't wine time, whatever the case may be.
Shh. Oh, wait, they can't fire me now. So just so they understand kind of that atmosphere, it was a very boutique hotel, very, hobnobby kind of people stayed there. And I had to display a certain level of, decorum and, professionalism. And I didn't know you had a sense of humor when I met you because you're a doctor, and I'm like, oh, Dr. Rogers is checking in, and you have to be professional. And I didn't go there with you. I don't even know what broke the ice, to be honest with you. I don't remember. Maybe you do. I don't know. But it became a thing where I would pull pranks on you.
Yeah. So can I tell them my favorite one?
Sure.
Well, okay. So I actually have several, but one of them, I try to be really nice at hotels. I try to be understanding of like the day-to-day world that everyone who works there has to live with, and high maintenance people. And like you said, hobnobby people who expect more than they deserve, things like that. But on a regular basis, I would get there and there's supposed to be a conditioner, a shampoo, a body wash, and a lotion. And I kid you not, I think at least 5 times out of 10, I would have like 3 shampoos and no conditioner. And so I would just gently mention that to various people at the front desk, like, hey, didn't get conditioner again. And so one time I check in, I go to my room, and there were 32 conditioners all lined up on my sink, which was like the best thing ever. So Robin regularly took any comment I ever made and took it to the nth degree to demonstrate the level of service that she was capable of providing. That may have been second to when I walked in my room and had life-size Megan Rapinos taped all over my room. Which
what was that time?
Yeah, and that was in the middle of the World Cup, so it was like.
Well, you said you were a soccer fan, so I wanted to accommodate you.
This is the best. You were perfect for that hotel. You made that hotel awesome. And then it got less awesome. So
Yeah. I'm still in contact with some of the mothers that were frequent flyers there, and they stopped going there.
Those were hobnobby
Those were
people.
the hobnobby. Yeah.
Yes. We were just like worker people who stayed there. They were hobnobby.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I mean, it was a good time. I loved that hotel. As a matter of fact, Donna just asked me today, well, why aren't you still in that type of work? And I don't think I could physically or mentally or emotionally go through that again. It was a lot, but it was some of the best years of my life. So I'm fortunate for it. But yeah, I'm done. Yeah. What's my next question? Okay, so you're obviously you're a doctor, but you're PhD, correct? You're not MD. So you're not here to give
Are you going to say that's lesser?
No,
Yes.
no. But I'm just saying you're not a medical doctor that can
I'm
give
not a
medical
medical
advice
doctor.
or anything like that. But the current situation, and please, everybody in the chat, do not say the C word. And I don't mean see you next Tuesday. I mean, don't say the C word or anything related to it, just because we're hearing that people are getting their, not that I'm monetized yet, but if I ever wanted to be, I would not be able to use this video for that. So if you could be respectful and not use the keywords, then that'd be great. Plus, we want to keep it light, but we at the same time, I want to be a little informative since you are in that field and have your feelers out for it. You're kind of keyword yourself right now, right?
Yeah.
Because of your life, what you do for a living, you travel a lot, so you've come in contact. You feel okay though?
Yeah, I feel okay. I'm sensitive to the fact that I've been exposed to a lot of people, a lot of cities, a lot of airports, a lot of hotels, and I work in hospitals.
Yeah.
So I do think the responsible thing for someone like me, who's been all over and has been in many of the cities that are hardest hit right now, to just sort of lay low and hide out for a bit. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's why we're at the lake and not in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And I have a kid who just flew home from Seattle, who was at school at University of Washington, and she was excited to see some of her friends in Ann Arbor, and those parents actually really were afraid and didn't want her to join in any sort of group setting, and that was really hard for her. But when we talked through it, and I sort of explained, people have very different levels of anxiety in different situations, and I said, right now, I think it's really important that we give grace to people who are on the more anxious end of the spectrum. And it almost doesn't matter whether or not this pans out as people expect, better or worse. I think the best thing we can do right now is just be kind to one another and accepting of the fact that people react to situations like this in very different ways. People react to disruption, unexpected situations, and not everyone can just pivot to a new reality, and this absolutely is a new reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually have been speaking and writing and doing some interviews about the current situation and how the hospitals that I work with are responding or could respond. And I've spent a lot of time nerding out about the subject as somebody who is trained in public health. It's an interesting time, certainly, to just pay attention to everything that's happening. And a lot of people are asking me to make my Facebook post public and and things that I'm not really used to doing, because I'm not giving advice. Like, I'm just sharing what I'm hearing from the front lines, which it seems like people are really hungry to know what's really happening. And
right.
I'm just one person with my own experience, and I share it as I can. But I think the country's coming around to realize that this is for real, and it's time just to be a good member of the community, right? Take care of one another and do what's best for the whole. And that's really runs contrary to how a lot of Americans think. And I think that's going to be an interesting experiment for all of us, and see where we end up on the other side of it.
Yeah. So just honestly, when I asked you to be on this show, it wasn't even on the radar.
I know
what's going on. It doesn't hurt that you have the knowledge that you have, obviously, because as much information as I can help with too, that's real information of somebody that's going through it, the better. But you were not brought here to discuss that, per se. I actually wanted you on the show, maybe with a couple other people that are women that tend to, or that work in fields that tend to be more man centric, or just mostly men in the field. And you're
Mhm.
definitely one of those people that I think of, especially women with families and how they juggle children and work and travel. And so if you wanted to speak freely about that as well, I think people would find that very
Sure.
interesting.
Well, and I was thinking about your audience and the fact that a lot of people that get into the businesses that you guys are doing are interested in being their own boss, right? I mean, they're entrepreneurs, and
Hmm.
this is what I mean about the spirit of the United States in general, and how we tend to do things in a very individualistic way, and usually that's a really good thing, and that's why this is going to be a test for so many people. But um, when I started my company, which I sold last year, and we can talk about that because that's been interesting. Um, but when I started my company, I really set out to build a business within a traditional male industry for sure. Consulting is still a very male industry, in part because the travel requirements are just so incredibly taxing. And I make it clear to people that I don't think it's that women aren't interested in the job. I think it's more that I think women are less interested in sacrificing without a good reason to. And consulting requires a big sacrifice of your personal life. At least if you're doing consulting that requires travel, which is most consulting.
Hmm.
But I think women really they just tend to weigh the reward and weigh the cost and the reward. And what ends up happening is they do that math and say, I don't know, like, why would I get on a plane every single day and have no personal life and not ever see my family? So I set out to build a company that where possibly people could do both. And
Hmm.
we made it a very clear goal that we were going to have the most family friendly policies, that we were going to support women. We were going to try to support them if they wanted to come back into consulting after having kids. And unfortunately, I can't stand here and tell you that it worked. I mean, it was incredibly hard. And um, whereas we did succeed and we built an amazing company over a 10-year period that by all measures was successful. And that's why we were acquired by somebody who was interested in it. But, I spent a lot of time thinking, did we do right by women and their families? I think we did better than most, but it's not necessarily as great as I wish I could say. It was
Yeah.
incredibly hard to
Well,
create
that
a family
worked
friendly
out.
company.
Yeah. Especially with all the travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was so happy when you brought your family with you and I was able to have fun with them because I would see you and not your family. And that's got to be hard on anybody. I mean, we had a lot of men that stayed at a hotel. And I honestly, not to put dads down in any way, shape, or form, but it's a different, you know, way of thinking. Like a man goes out to business, it's not even looked at twice, but a woman does it. And it's
Yeah.
different.
Well, and I think what's interesting about that, Robin, is I think part of the reason that so many women in our company were able to do this is in some ways most of them had partners, husbands, wives, whatever their choice of partner was, who did stay home. I mean, so there is truth to that, that like it's hard to send both people on the road, and I don't think that works for many people. But we had some great men in the company, and I think that our policies attracted men who wanted the same thing that a lot of women want. So, I think we were lucky in that we just had some of the most fun, family-oriented people. Yeah, but you would see us on like day 5 and 6 of a road trip where all of us were like, I just want to see my kids. Like
Yeah.
that was tough. So when I
Yeah.
brought my kids on that trip, um, that was the first time they went to Dallas, and that was in the 8th year that I was working on that project. So I took them to see that hospital right before it opened, and I said to my youngest, I started this project when you were 1. And that was fun though, because they had heard the name, and they knew I was in Dallas, and they knew I was at the hotel with you, but they had no concept of what I was doing. So I was able to
Right.
say, hey, this is what we did. We actually were doing something.
I regret not having taken the tour with you. That would have been
Yeah, you
interesting.
should, because you're never going to get that chance again, and you missed it.
I know. I know. My bad. Yeah. What I could do if you're willing is I could open up the chat to questions they may have. Like I said, be careful with your wording, guys. You're definitely free to talk about it. Just try to refrain from the keywords so that it's not picked up on anybody's algorithm or radar. But if you just want to ask, if you have any questions for her, if you have any questions, they're asking what your PhD is in.
My PhD, I'm laughing because my kids make jokes about what my PhD is in, but they make shit up. So they'll regularly say, wow, you really are sort of sketchy for someone with a PhD. But I tell them I don't have a PhD in Snapchat. I'm sorry, I have a PhD. It's in health management and health system planning.
You said the S word and they jumped on it. PhD and shit.
Exactly.
Her son, one of her sons, oh my God, that boy's eyes. I wish I don't have a picture and I don't think I should show it anyway, but the dreamiest eyes you ever did see, that kid.
He's a good kid.
He is a good kid. Yeah.
He's the one. So eventually, now that you're pressuring me to actually do something with my YouTube channel, I'll put some of his videos on there. Some of his Final Four or his NCAA March Madness commentaries on there, but I'll put some good things on there.
I think he would actually do well with YouTube too. He always had such a personality. He definitely has the looks for it. My goodness. But you said he's into TikTok.
He is.
Short attention span YouTube.
Yeah. What's funny is all three of my kids. So for people who are wondering the ages, because what you saw, they were younger. But so I have two 19-year-olds who are freshmen in college, and then I have a sophomore in high school, and they're all into TikTok, but they act like they invented TikTok, like this generation. And I'm like, it was called Vines, and we had it.
Yeah, that was ours. You didn't invent this. Hashtag not your idea.
We danced on camera before you guys were here.
Yeah. I've watched a little bit of it, but yeah, it's just like Vines.
I don't understand it, honestly. It just makes it's not that it makes me feel so old or something, but I look at it, I'm like, so you're all doing the same dance? Like, that's what this is what you do? So.
Yeah. I mean, my parents always made fun of us for our music or whatever we had at the time. So I get it. It's, something new for the kids. But apparently Donna's husband's totally into it. And he's what? I'm sure he's in his 50s. So there's no age limits to it. I don't think he actually makes TikToks. I think he's just glued to it.
I don't know. I know some adults who make TikToks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should look at it. I don't know.
They're pretty fun. I mean,
yeah.
Who doesn't like to dance?
Well, I don't.
How do you not like to dance? Why? What don't you like about dancing?
I did like to dance. There was a time I'd enter the club and I'd literally walk straight to the dance floor and not leave it till 2 a.m. other than to have drinks brought to me or, take a quick drink or something. But yeah, I was a dancing fool in the 80s. The 80s.
There's better music then.
90s, 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, and that's where it ends. All right, anybody have any questions? It's hard to see the chat sometimes.
I think people want you to dance, but I mean, that's just what I'm reading.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Is that another show? Can we do that on another show?
No. No. So I think I missed. How long are you where you're at?
Well, I was supposed to be back on the road this afternoon, but I obviously am not flying for a little while. So I think I'm gonna stay here another 5 days, make sure I don't have a fever, and then head back probably.
Yeah, 5 days. That's not too bad.
No, that's not too bad. And we're still working. We're just doing everything remotely.
Yeah.
Which you guys already do and do well.
Yeah. Well, I hope to not keep it remote. I want to travel and vlog and things like that, kind of change it up a bit. And I definitely need to get out. I actually have not been out of my house, and not because of the world situation. I've not been out of my house since last Tuesday, not even to my mailbox. Sorry, Susan. Apparently she sent me a card or something. I have yet even to go out there. But I am going to my mailbox after this show because there's
Well,
something.
I mean, is your mailbox miles away? Why are you not
It's a
going?
pain
You
in the
need to go
butt.
outside. People need to go outside
I know.
every day.
Wow. Some people. I just everything's been remote lately, so it just doesn't dawn on me to go out there. I have everything delivered. My food's delivered, groceries, whatever
I
I
would
need
go
is
crazy
delivered.
if I didn't go outside every day.
Well, I think about it every day, but it does. I don't sit here and like, oh, I wish I could go outside. I just think about it, and
You
then
don't look out a window and say, I
I
should
can
go
see
see
out my
what's
door.
out there.
I have a big sliding glass door right there. I can watch. Yeah, I can still see outside. I just am not. Well, it's been raining, so.
Oh, all right. Well,
All right. Question: do you think because of this you'll end up changing the layout or flow of hospitals?
that's actually that's a great question.
Yeah.
So here's the truth about hospitals. They're actually already built for exactly this reason. They're built with sections that keep people who are not sick from getting sick, and sections to keep people who are sick to work on making them better without getting everyone else sick. The challenge is that with this particular situation, we don't often know that people are capable of infecting other people. So there's very little that we could do to hospital design that would actually be able to respond to that problem. I know you're not laughing about sick people, so
I'm
you
really
carry on.
not.
I'm going to
Sorry.
talk with everyone who's interested.
I'm really not laughing at that.
I'm teasing you. So yeah, I think one of the things that we're going to have to do is make sure that we have a way for hospitals to expand. The problem that we're preparing for right now in this country. So for those of you who may be saying like, why, what's this about? And I'm going to try not to use any of the words, but what this is about is an effort that most people in science research, academics call flattening the curve. So what that means is if you have a curve and on one side you have like when illness starts and then this is where it peaks, what we need is we need people to get sick at different times.
Yeah.
And the challenge comes if everybody gets sick at the same time. So what was happening in some of these other countries is everybody was getting sick at the same time, which means that we don't have enough beds. Because the kind of bed you need if you get really sick with this is a critical care bed. And we don't have enough of those. And what's different about our country than other countries that a lot of people might not realize who aren't in the industry is because of the way that we finance healthcare, we've now cut back so much on what's readily available that we're running at what people would say is max efficiency, which means that we have enough beds open to meet the demand. Well, when something like this happens where the demand surges and it surges everywhere, we don't have any extra capacity because most of our critical care units run at very high utilization rates anyway. So usually there's only somewhere between 1 and 10 beds available at your local hospital. Well, when this happens and we surge and everybody gets sick at the same time, we run out of the right kinds of beds, but we also run out of the right equipment. Like when people are very sick with this, they need to go on a ventilator, which is a breathing machine, and we don't have thousands of extras of those sitting around. So that's really what the challenge is right now. We also, and I see the question about keeping employees safe. That's a real challenge right now because one, we have crowds that coming to hospitals that people can't respond because there's nowhere to triage them. There's nowhere to even like talk to people who are coming in, which is why hospitals across the country are saying, please don't come in. Please call first. We'll try to help you without coming in, and then we'll tell you if you need to come in. Well, part of the reason for that is we're running out of masks in major cities. There is a major hospital that's in one of the hot spots right now that they believe they have 4 days left of masks and gloves. So whereas you would think in a normal situation, people would say, oh, well, we have gloves and we have masks, we'll send them to you. People can't do that because they're not available. They're not available anywhere in the country and in the world right now. So people can't, we can't help other hospitals. So hospitals right now are bracing for their own regional situation, which is is hard, because normally in a normal sort of outbreak, you could send resources to, say, the Pacific Northwest, or we could send resources down to Florida. But what's happening right now is everybody feels the need to hold on to what they have, because this is going to hit all of us at once. So that's why people are trying to say, stay home for a little while, and let's try to flatten that curve so that people are going to get it no matter what. But if we can spread out how many people get it at one time, it's going to help the healthcare system.
Right. I think that's what Donatella's cousin was saying this morning, was the problem was everybody at once, and you run out of resources differently than if it's spread out.
Yeah, and we have a lot of sick people in this country anyway, with other things. And
not to mention all the heart attacks and all that.
Yeah. So what happens if you're sick with other things right now? It's really hard to get what you need.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, here's a serious question.
Yes. Okay. So actually, we do not have any hand sanitizer.
Well, I'm told that hand sanitizer only kills bugs. It doesn't kill viruses.
No, hand sanitizer is what you need right now, but you can use other things. So one, soap and water is very effective. Bleach, you can just cut bleach down to a different kind of solution. Put it in a spray bottle, 3 parts water, 1 part bleach. Don't spray that on anything that it's going to bleach, though. That's the problem with that. Don't spray it on people. But we don't have hand sanitizer. We do have toilet paper. But pictures from Ann Arbor today showed that there was a line to get into Costco that wrapped all the way around the building. So I think we're just going to have to live with not having hand sanitizer for a while. Which again, I think is hard for some people. Some people who really hate germs. This is like their worst nightmare. You hate germs?
I'm not a germaphobe at all. I'm actually the opposite, and I never get sick because of it. So this is a real question.
Is it the one that I see on the screen?
Yeah.
What's so funny about that? I had a dream the other day and I was a mermaid in the dream. So it's just like, it's all coming together now that this was meant to happen, this whole conversation.
Serendipitous yet again with us.
Oh, wait, can I say something about the mermaids though? Okay, this is not like factual. So I always have to tell people like when I'm just talking versus saying something factual. But
yeah, because you're so serious.
But I heard that, so I heard mixed competing things, but I was looking at some people who had masks on their dogs, walking their dogs outside with these little dog masks on. And I actually heard that they have proven that dogs do not get this. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not a veterinarian, but after seeing a bunch of pictures of dogs with masks, I had to look it up because I was really curious. Why are people exactly? You just have to put a surgical mask on that.
I don't have any more. Oh, awesome. God, now this filter's gonna get stuck on here, and I'm not gonna know how to get rid of it. Oh wait, we figured out it was. There we go. All right. That was not planned at all. I didn't know you were gonna say that. Let's see. I saw another question. Where'd it go? So
wait, all these people who say they never get sick. So that's awesome. Here's another weird thing about this situation though. You can be totally fine and be spreading it to everyone you know. And that's why it's so challenging. But for those people who never get sick, even more reason though that if you start showing symptoms, you should probably go in and see somebody, because if you were supposed to, if you don't usually get sick, then, or usually, the other problem is allergies right now. So allergies, spring allergies hitting at the same time as people looking for runny nose symptoms and cough and breathing problems, complicates the situation. So it's good to be able to like parse that out. So if you never get sick and all of a sudden you're sick, I think you probably need to take it more seriously than other people. Yeah. So Sherry, I'm not running your show, Robin, but I see these questions on here. Oh, that's why you're here. That's why you're here. So Sherry, interesting question. because the Surgeon General just issued something that said that all elective surgeries should be postponed. And the reason for that, and not everyone's doing that. So the first question is it elective? Most scheduled surgeries are elective. So that's how they usually define it, because I know a lot of people are like, well, what does elective mean if I actually need to have it? If it's scheduled, it's called an elective surgery. And the only reason they want everyone to postpone is, well, there are two main reasons. One is gloves, supplies, healthcare workers, et cetera. And the other is just because right now they have to assume that every room in any hospital, any surgery center needs to be terminally cleaned between patients. And that takes a long time. So terminal cleaning is what usually happens at the end of a day in a hospital. So the clean between patients is just like wipe down the surface with antiviral and antibacterial wipes. But a terminal clean, you literally clean every single thing in that room. You use a UV light in a lot of places to do this whole UV light disinfecting thing. And it takes a really long time. So the fear is that elective surgeries are going to they're just going to take space and resources in the hospital that we can't afford to do right now. But that's going to be interesting. I mean, I think we'll see that situation will evolve over the next 5 days, because it's hard to postpone elective surgeries, especially because some people wait months or a year even.
Yeah.
Yes, hospitals are the easiest place to pick up anything. That's absolutely true. It's another reason why they don't want people coming in, because so many people are going to have these symptoms and not actually have that particular thing. So they don't really want everybody coming in to get tested where you might actually be then exposed and you didn't actually have it, and now you're exposed and you're going to have it. So that's true. Am I nervous? I'm never nervous about flying. Last week I went Denver to San Francisco to Toronto and back to Detroit. Thus the fear that I probably shouldn't be around others right now. That's a good question. I'd still be on a plane if I didn't think it was irresponsible. So
yeah.
If I was trying to go somewhere with one of my elderly family members, though, I absolutely would not put anyone on a plane right now. Or an immunocompromised child of any sort, I wouldn't put anybody on a plane.
Right. Because like you said, even though they may not be displaying symptoms or anything, they could be a carrier and spreading it that way.
Well, and the thing about a plane, so the reason that what's happening right now, canceling school and everything else, the reason that it works is because you try to keep people within the zone and the region that they're in. So the problem with a plane, if you think about it, everybody who has this condition, every region that is seeing it for the first time is seeing it because somebody brought it there from another region.
Yeah.
So if we didn't have air travel, we probably wouldn't be in this situation, honestly.
True. They've canceled a lot of flights, but they're allowing U.S. citizens to come back from those countries that are infected more than us.
Yeah.
They're not allowing travelers or what do you call it, tourists or whatever, that kind of thing. But we're still bringing it back here. So.
Yeah, and everyone I know is looking at going to Florida right now. And because flights are like $70 from Michigan to Florida, and everybody in Michigan goes to Florida anyway in March. But I think pretty soon they're going to say that's a really bad idea, is taking a bunch of people who are potentially exposed and having them go to all the resorts in Florida.
She's saying something about.
You're frozen. Am I frozen?
No. No?
No, you're not. No, now you're good.
Okay. Marie, can you ask your question again? I scrolled up and I'm not finding it. Did you see a question about a motel? I don't know if she thinks you're in a motel because you're not. Yeah, Donna's in Florida.
Yeah, I told Robin earlier I did book a flight to West Palm Beach, so I'll try to keep my distance.
Yeah, I'm not seeing her question. I see a question. I'm not seeing Marie. If you could type your question again, I'll have her answer it. Can you see the question?
I can see Christine's question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, about nursing home visits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of discussion about this because so much research has come out saying that social isolation and loneliness is as hard on many populations as illness is. So I know that they're trying to do a lot of remote activities and remote visits and trying to implement that not only in nursing homes, but and I'm not trying a comparison between these two types of institutions, but I know they're looking at that for prisons as well, because people aren't going to be allowed to go into jails anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing for people, there is a little positive news in what's coming out from these other countries, which is once somebody has had it, they actually get immunity really quickly. So I think if I was to look in a crystal ball, I think what is likely to happen in this country is once we have large groups of people exposed, like for instance, the Pacific Northwest, San Francisco, Seattle, a lot of people have been exposed. So once we get to like 3 weeks from now, we're going to have a whole group of, a decent sized population of people who are going to be immune.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, then we can put a lot of those people into these situations. So I think what you're going to see is nursing homes and other places will end up getting an influx of people who can come in and help and do activities and kind of bring things back to some normalcy once we have a whole group of people that are on the other side of this and
Mm-hmm.
have immunity.
Okay. There's no antidote, obviously, for it. So wouldn't that be a good sign that they might be able to come up with some kind of the fact that you are immune after you've been exposed means they can probably make an antidote for it quicker, right?
Yeah, it might be a year or so off, but yes. The UK is doing a great experiment right now, which is they're going the opposite direction of what we're doing and what Italy is doing. And they're sort of saying we're going to try to take all the healthy people we can and get them exposed so that we have a whole, army of people who have immunity. That's risky.
Yeah.
But anyone who wants to nerd out on that, just Google what the UK is doing, and it's sort of interesting. The question on the screen about King County buying a motel. So, what's interesting about that, and I've spent a lot of time with people talking about this because I work with a lot of really large urban hospitals, like the 1,000-bed hospital that Robin was referencing in Dallas, and some states. So for us to be able to react to this the way that people want to, we have regulation around building hospitals, building codes, and regulatory things that make it much harder for United States hospitals to react quickly to anything, honestly. So, some people said, well, why couldn't we put up a 1,000-bed hospital like Wuhan did? And the answer to that is by US standards and US definitions, what they did in China is not a hospital. It's more of a tent city, and it's more of a shanty town. It doesn't meet the standards of a hospital, and the only reason that it matters is because you can't, if you are a medical provider in the United States, you can't practice medicine in settings that are not approved for practicing medicine. So we have this catch-22 in this country where we're really finding ourselves behind the 8 ball in terms of flexibility. So we've done a lot to keep patients safe and staff safe, but those same things that are designed to keep everyone safe make it really hard for the US to pivot and do anything innovative or creative to do anything quickly.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't mean to be super serious. I mean,
no,
I was
no, it's
about it,
fine.
but it's sort of not funny, but Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions about it. It's an interesting time for sure. It
Yeah.
reminds me of like that Mr. Rogers thing, look for the helpers, because there's
Yeah.
some people doing really interesting things just trying to help people right now. There's some of the restaurants in our little lake town that I'm in right now, and I'm in my own house. I'm not in a motel or anything. But they've set up these really interesting like pantries where they are putting kids lunches, out in the back so that kids can come by and just pick up lunch at any time, because that's really, there are two, really hard things about closing public schools, which the state of Michigan was the first to do the other day. Um, the first is that it's just so disruptive to working parents, and people are like, work
Yeah.
at home, and many of us are like, have you met my kids? Like, how do you think working at home is going to work? And then the other thing is that so many kids in America get their meals at school. So
Yeah.
I think, for people who want to help or be helpful right now, just look for who in your community is going to be feeding kids while the schools are closed. And there's a lot of ways that people can
Wow.
help.
So many things that you don't even think of.
Yep. April, I don't currently do any work with the VA health system. I have in the past. I'm not working with any of them currently though. But the VA actually can do some really innovative and awesome things, and they can usually do it more quickly than the rest of the country. So I would expect to see them on the front lines. It's sort of interesting that we're not hearing a lot from them right now, but I would expect that we're going to see something.
What is this one talking about?
She doesn't want me to come to West Palm Beach. That's what she's saying.
Oh.
It's funny, like ethically, I am feeling like we're probably gonna have to cancel that trip. For that very reason. I mean, plus I have kids who have now been sent home from college, and my family is representing like 5 different areas of the country. So anywhere we come, we're gonna bring all of that.
Yeah.
But some other people in our community have said to me, well, what if I'm just flying down and renting a house? Like, what if it's a VRBO or an Airbnb and we're just going to be sequestered there? Like, what's the difference between being sequestered on the beach and being sequestered somewhere else? And I mean, I'm not one to like take the moral high ground on this or anything, but I said, well, from just being objective about what you're doing, you're probably using public restrooms, you're probably going into stores, you're probably using a gas station at some point, and everywhere along the way you're touching things and bringing Michigan germs that were not in those cities. And that is really what people are talking about.
Donna says that's not it.
I gave you another idea? Well, I hope it's something good.
So I have a serious question for you. Have you been sanitizing things that you touch frequently? Like seriously?
Okay, so earlier today I went to a coffee shop, and
Yes or no question.
What?
It's a yes or no question.
No. The answer is no.
Oh, because I was wondering if it burned.
You're terrible. You are terrible.
Thanks.
This is a family show, Robin.
I was asking, no, it's not. And I was asking for a friend.
I've complained to Robin before about soap that I do not find very comfortable, and I don't think that hotels should use anymore.
Yeah, somebody told me a story earlier about toothpaste too. That was pretty hysterical. Yeah. Careful what you sanitize, people.
It's true. I did tell everyone at that store though. So for the record, I said I did try not to touch anything, but I did tell people you really should wash your hands after dealing with my credit card, because I've been a lot of places. So
yeah, I told you that was a thing. I had to warn her about y'all before she came on here, because there's a lot of inside jokes, and she's not in the reselling community, and I just had to really prepare her. So,
well, I think you're making an assumption about whether or not in the resale community. Okay,
probably.
I'm really not, but that doesn't mean I couldn't be. Jeez, I guess I am really so exclusive, Robin.
Well, not exclusive per se, but like they definitely they're a different breed for sure.
They let you
They're
in.
fun. They did. That's because I disguised myself as somebody that wanted to do it as well. And now because of shipping, I don't want to. So
Well, I actually did a lot of
Alex,
eBay when eBay first came out. So just for the record.
yeah. So you know how to list
Yeah. I used to sell a lot of books on eBay.
books. Okay. Yeah.
And I know how to
So
list on
yeah,
Amazon too, for the record.
he says he has something sanitized for him. I'm not sure what that means. Sure, I missed a joke somewhere. I know he was talking about his phone earlier. I don't know if he was talking about his phone, but yeah, phones are like a big culprit right now too. I've never really I don't generally hold my phone to my face anyway when I talk on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually speakerphone. So.
Oh, I see a good question that I'm
Well,
not
feel free
afraid
to,
to
if
answer.
I miss it, then go ahead.
Okay, well, wait, some of them are really funny, but so Treasure Hustlers asked, how much am I charging these days? I'm assuming you mean like what do we charge for consulting, like hourly rates? Is that right? That's my
I
guess.
don't know you never know what these girls, they're nuts. They usually, actually, they're on their best behavior today compared to what they normally type in my chat. It must be Sarah, not Jackie. That's all I'm saying. Sarah, the one on the right, is a little more composed than Jackie.
So we charge a lot. So my rate is $450 to $550 an hour, and don't hate me for that because it's in part to limit. It's in part so that I can, well, ration, I guess, a little bit. Because what I end up doing is when some people are like, oh, well, that's more than I wanted to spend, then I can say, well, that's great because we have a team of 60 and we have 60 people who come at all different price points and all different levels of experience. And I'm sure we can find somebody that could be more affordable for you.
See, this is more what she meant, and that explains what I just
Sanitizing ball sacks. There's no amount of money. Okay, wait. Well, there might be an amount of money, but it wouldn't
really,
be
how much?
It wouldn't be $500. It wouldn't be
Really,
$500 an hour.
How much? How much would you do that for?
Well, I mean, for someone I'm not taking care of, let's assume.
It can't be a friendly ball sack. It has to be a complete stranger ball sack.
Well, and that's all I'm doing. I mean, so like
Sanitizing
10 minutes. Maybe $5,000. I mean, not that much. That's all I'm doing. If it's just purely transactional.
She says just a little juggling. Just a little juggling.
Oh, then it goes way up.
Yeah.
This show needs to come with a warning.
It should. Nothing's overtly bad, but then there's a lot of yeah. There's that.
That's all right. I'm game for real conversation.
I mean, I'm not monetized yet anyway, so they can't do anything to me.
So wait, so when you get monetized, then you have a bunch of rules?
There are rules.
Like who makes the rules?
YouTube.
But who's paying you? I mean, do they pay
YouTube.
people? Oh, they pay people directly.
Advertising page. You place ads on your videos. But yeah, there's certain things that aren't allowed. I mean, there's a lot of things I do within my videos that aren't allowed. I get hit with copyright all the time. I mean, I need to stop reading them. I get hit with copyright all the time for music or video clips and things like that. Because sometimes during my live, we'll be talking about a certain movie. I'm like, oh, and then I'll grab a clip off of YouTube and share my screen. I get in trouble for that. So I then have to go back and delete that segment or.
So if I want to use this for something, like I have to pay you for the copyright and all these people who are in the chat because they're now.
All right. It's just a matter of time till this happens. Let's see if somebody's trying. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's trying to break me. It's all good. I'm not going to do it. So you know what that is, right? I told you about that. Are you frozen or are you just thinking?
No, I'm just reading, looking at you guys.
Yeah. Have you ever sanitized your sanitizer?
I don't sanitize much, honestly. I'm not a germaphobe at all.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm not very much of a germaphobe. I mean, I'm washing my hands more than usual, but I mean, apparently this has exposed the fact that most people like never wash their hands. So
I wash my hands a lot, like just in general, not because of this. I just do. I was that kid that couldn't play with mud or put lotion. I can't put lotion on my hands. I can't like suntan lotion as a kid. I wouldn't put it on myself, and even now I'm just like, ew, I don't like anything on my hands. So I wash my hands constantly.
well, I would think that this community is a community of people that touches other people's stuff. No double entendre intended.
Just touch it. Yeah. Yeah, they touch a lot of people's junk.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Germaphobes get sicker than the rest of us. I agree.
No, and I often find myself like sucking on like, other people's pens and pencils, and they'll be like,
I didn't know where you were going with that. I was
that's
like,
mine that you have in your mouth? Yeah.
That's what she said. See, Bobby beat me to it. I warned you. Don't act like you didn't know. Usually it's later in the evening, though, when we start talking like this, but, we're breaking it up just special for you. And there goes T with her. That's what she said.
I always think of Michael Scott and, just appreciate him whenever I hear that's what she said.
Yeah. She's cooler than me. She is. I get it.
I don't know, Robin. You're pretty cool.
You really should do. Thank you. You should, you should have more content. Let me know if you need help with that. I don't charge $4.50.
Well, I didn't know that anyone was ever going to look at it. Okay, can I just tell you like what the deal with my YouTube channel is? So most of my communication with the outside world. I can't tell if it's you who's frozen or me.
It's you, I think. Give it a second. Yeah, it's buffering for everybody. The internet's been really slow since all this because everybody's on the internet. So,
well, because there's not a lot else to do. I mean, Frozen 2 was released today, which, oh, shoot, can I say it? Oh, yeah, we're not showing a clip, which was, kind of Disney to share with everyone.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Well, I love Frozen because I love Disney princesses, but that's a different story. You were talking about YouTube content, so I'm gonna bench it up a little. I'm gonna improve it. So that was only there because I couldn't send large videos to people, so I would upload them and then send a link. So there's nothing like curated or intentional on that YouTube channel. LinkedIn is actually where I do most of my communication with the rest of the world. But it's businessy. I mean, like I told you, no one's ever asked me just to come and talk about real life. I'm always talking about, work, which I love. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, you want me as a person?
Is there something you want to talk about?
No.
Yeah, me?
Yeah. Here I am.
Well, of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. You made a very big impact in my life, and for whatever reason, you're still in it, and that's great, and I'm happy about that.
I'm glad.
Yeah, they're complaining that I'm a little fuzzy right now.
Yeah, you are. You're pixelated.
I'm clear on my screen. You're clear on my screen.
Well, I'll just talk to everyone else.
There you go.
It's my show now. I'm the captain now.
How do I get all these A types in my life? I don't know. anybody have any more questions? We're going to be wrapping it up soon because Dr. Rogers here has
Okay, wait, can I say something about this bidet? I mean, since I get to talk about like any random stuff, which is not usually my life where I have to like be somewhat professional. So I stayed in a hotel last week. Okay, and those of you who are like way more sophisticated than me, you might be like, where's she been? So I apologize in advance if this is something that the rest of the world knows about. So I stayed in a hotel in San Francisco, and it was a really nice hotel. And we don't usually stay in the nicest hotels because our clients pay for it, and most of them are universities and public hospitals, and they don't really necessarily want to treat us to luxury, right? Which makes total sense. So because of all this that's happening, hotels are super cheap. So I stayed at this really amazing hotel in downtown San Francisco, and I was in a bad mood because I don't know, sometimes I'm cranky about work, and I was up super early, and I go in the bathroom and I sit down on a heated toilet seat, and it actually was a bidet and everything, but I was afraid to like do anything with that because I don't really know how to use all the different things that it would do. And it's like, do you want front? Do you want back? I'm like, I don't know what all those things are. So no, I just want to go to the bathroom and then get in the shower. However, the heated toilet seat, I really like, I texted home. I'm like, I just discovered a luxury that I didn't know I needed. Because it was quite fantastic. So if any of you have the chance to experience that or buy one of those or redo your bathroom, yeah, go for it because that's nice.
The heated toilet seat.
But again, I mean, not to totally like rat out my kids, but any of you who have teenagers know that like they are in the bathroom forever, and it's because they're on their phone and they're not focused, and like just get your action done and get out of there. Yeah. And so a heated toilet seat would just exacerbate that entire problem.
True.
Bathroom distraction. Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't try the bidet then?
I really didn't. I sort of don't get it. I mean, I don't know.
My boss has one, not to call her out, but she said it's life changing.
Yeah, people seem to love that.
Day and age it is. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's glad she has it now.
I guess I wondered, okay, so if somebody wrote on there the heated hard spray, because I would really wonder, like, I'm not really interested in like being sprayed by cold toilet water. So I think I just need to like do my homework and understand exactly what we're talking about. And then maybe if I stay in the hotel again.
Just spray. Yeah, they just have cheap versions, and then they have ones that actually spray heated water. Yeah, Mary, you do still have to, but not. Well, I think that's just too many details. We won't go there, but you don't use as much toilet paper with a bidet. Let's put it that way.
Well, Robin,
Bobby suggests maybe like trying it naked.
Well, I think I was naked because I was getting in the shower. But
then what were you worried about?
I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I assumed it was cold, number one, which maybe it's not. Maybe it's not cold. I don't know. But you seem to be somewhat of an expert, Robin, so maybe you should enlighten all of us.
No, I've never used one myself. No. I've been in the market for one after a long, lengthy, I don't know why I get in bidet conversations, but I do. And I gotten one with somebody that swears by it. And she not only has one in one bathroom, she bought another one for another bathroom. She swears by them.
Well, for people that are interested, can I share what the brand is? Am I allowed?
Sure.
So this was called
no sponsor.
Okay, so this was called a Toto washlet, WASHLET, as in toilet, but washlet. And apparently in San Francisco, there's a Toto showroom where you can go try them. So I had passed these these billboards for it over and over again. So when I discovered that was in my hotel room, yes, I probably should have tried it, but I don't know, next time.
Especially naked. Okay. You should always try things naked when you're allowed to.
I mean, are you usually naked when you're in the bathroom?
Generally, no.
Well, when you're in the morning, when you're getting in the shower, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just too many details. We won't go there, but you don't use as much toilet paper with a bidet. Let's put it that way.
Well, when you're in the morning, when you're getting in the shower, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah. Mr. Buys a Lot says.
Oh, they're sold out. Look at somebody else said it's sold out. An arc.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know I was looking for that.
Yeah. Oh, they're sold. Oh, okay. So that's a thing too. People are hoarding. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Test drive a toilet in our show. What did the billboard say exactly that drew you in?
It actually said you can try out all the different Toto models in this show.
No,
It's
I
right
want to know
by.
word for word. I want to know word for word, like verbatim.
I think it said, "Come in and try out our new models." I think it really said that.
So it wasn't specific, but you knew what they meant.
Well, there's a picture
Yeah.
of it on the thing. It's right across from whatever the baseball stadium is in San Francisco. It's literally right across from it. So. I think I was blushing.
Not the first time.
Should we end on something else?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm done, but however, I don't want to end it on a shitty topic. See what I did there?
Clever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's clever.
So, what are your plans? So let's say perfect world situation. You said you're there till when for sure? March,
Yeah, I'm probably here all
at
week.
least a couple weeks, right? You'll be
Well, I
there
was
all week.
supposed to go on a cruise. So I don't know how
Ooh.
your community feels about cruises, but I'm sort of done with people dissing cruises because I want to say that all those people who say nasty things about cruises, one, most of them have never been on a cruise. Two, you're
Right.
making judgments about people that actually are not true because I've been on a lot of cruises and I feel like it might be one of the only places left in the country where all sorts of people come into one place and enjoy each other and enjoy
Mhm.
a shared experience. So I love cruises
Yeah.
and I'm not going to stop taking them. And all these highbrow hoity-toity people who diss cruises, I just want to say to all of them, maybe you should go on one before you pass all your crazy judgment about cruises. I love them.
Apparently, I missed a question. Hold on.
So can I ask
A lot
you a
of
question
people.
about pickers and what you guys are seeing right now and everything?
Sure.
Because do you ever find awesome artwork? Because that's why I would want to do it. I'd want to find awesome
Yeah.
artwork.
Let's finish this last one about that topic because everybody's
Oh,
screaming that I missed your question, and then I
okay.
will answer
So,
that.
all right. So wait a second. I have a community name like called Holland in the city next to me. So Sylvia, are you talking about the country of Holland or are you talking about like Holland, Michigan?
Yeah.
I'm guessing maybe I don't think she'd call the country Holland.
I don't know. Is that even the right question? That's the only one I saw. There's a delay.
Well, I'll answer it either way. I think schools, schools
Country.
in Michigan, the country. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about the country of Holland is, it has a lot of rural areas like we do. So people are hoping that because it tends to be spread out, that it won't be hit as hard. I think we'll see what happens here, but evidence is showing that if the goal is to reduce the impact on the healthcare system and make sure that we have the resources to take care of people, closing the schools is actually a really, really important thing.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
some places are waiting until they have a case or two and then closing the schools because the schools closing, it really is such a hardship on everyone when the schools close. But the reason that it's important, and some people say, well, why are we closing schools when kids don't really get this? Which is this really weird thing that kids actually are not being impacted by this for some reason. It's not that kids don't get it. It's that kids don't get really sick when they have it. So kids have the ability to take it, from one person to the next. And that's why we're closing schools because they are bigger and better germ spreaders. They're the most efficient germ spreaders of anyone in the population. So it's not that kids aren't getting it; it's that kids aren't getting sick. I mean, kids aren't having symptoms, which is almost scarier because that means that kids can transmit it. I mean, they're the biggest transmitters of the flu, and this they have every reason to believe this would be the same because they lick everything.
Yeah, they do. That's a good idea. Resell cruise. Okay, back to cruises. I've been on one cruise. I went to the Bahamas and St. Thomas and all that with my mom. And I just remember a lot of food and events and food and events and food. That's what I remember. But it was really cool. Yeah, I would love to go on them again.
Can I share something else that somebody said the other day that I thought was really funny? So I was at a meeting at a prestigious and important university that's leading the way in this current situation. And somebody said, I don't understand, like, why are we closing universities? Because if you take University of Washington, which is, like I said, where my daughter is, because she's a Washington Husky right now. Well, she's with me now here, but she was at school. And so people said, well, why are we sending these kids home? Because we have 50,000 students who now we're putting on planes and sending all over the United States from the epicenter of this outbreak. And the person in the room, the most knowledgeable person, who was someone high up in the university, said, what everyone needs to realize is dormitories are cruise ships on land. They have multiple people in each room. The rooms are close together. They have a lot of public areas. They have buffets, and they have a lot of drunk people who hook up. It is a cruise ship on land.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
I said, well, maybe that's why I loved being in a dorm, too. I wish we could, like, live our whole life in a dorm room.
If you get a chance, check out their channel. They're hysterical.
Wait, is that really what you guys look like? Like, do real people look like that?
They're adorable.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use their little avatars and say it's me.
Well, you're pretty. You don't need to do that.
You're sweet to me, Robin.
Yeah, they think we should get our own show. Funny.
I do. I want to get my own show. I want to talk about, like,
God, you so good because you're great at talking, and
I want to talk about badass women, like doing just like amazing things and like doing really random things. Like a lot of the women on this thread probably have like just seriously interesting things to say about their experience.
Yeah.
Because aren't you guys sort of in a industry that was primarily male, or is it just that it was mostly men on TV?
It's usually the men, and then like if they have a partner, that or a wife or whatever, she's somewhere in the picture. Like either she's holding the camera. Some of them branch off and do their own channels too. But yeah, it's primarily guys that are running the show. I mean, there's a lot of women that do reseller videos as well, though. But I'd have to say like the storage unit per se.
And I mean, I don't have anything against guys. Like, guys can be on my show too if they want to come talk about badass women.
Yeah.
Or what they do to support badass women.
Are you seriously considering this?
Yeah.
Totally. Just don't go up against me.
No, I'm not going to go up against you. So when I sold my company, so it's really sort of funny. I'm forbidden to talk about like any of the terms or anything, and it was a really great move. I'm really glad I did it. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time talking about what I'm going to do when I decide to move on to the next thing. So
yeah,
like most people, when you merge with another company, you have to stay for a certain amount of time, and I may choose to stay even longer, but I'm always thinking about my next move. Business, fun, write a book, whatever.
She has a good point, and I don't know if you watched it already. I know you watched some of my stuff. The other night was supposed to be a birthday party for Jackie. Jackie's wild, crazy, whatever. I decided I'm going to have a drink, right? I thought it was going to be like a crazy, funny, ridiculous night, and it ended up being the most touching, like, therapy session. I don't know. You should watch it. It's not what you think. That's for sure.
It's going to make me cry?
Yeah, probably. It made me cry.
Yeah.
It was a good show. People really opened up on it, and it's I can't even tell you enough how fulfilling this decision of mine to do this has been, just emotionally and um, everything. I've met some amazing people, and you will too, no doubt. Um, but yeah, if I had any encouragement at all, I'd say do that, because you've got the right personality and intellect for it, and I think you would do great for sure.
Well, Robin, I mean, if I could close this out by saying, like, it's not a mystery to me why we became friends at that hotel. And it is probably for all the reasons that, it's probably no coincidence that that birthday party ended up being really meaningful. I mean, I think you create meaningful experiences. So even at like hotels, when people are exhausted, because sometimes I would come in and you would be like, "Oh, what's wrong? How was you? What happened today?" And for whatever reason, I told you, and it
Yeah.
was important. You were uninvolved. You were sort of you were agnostic to the politics that were part of my life at that time, and it was good to have a confidant.
Yeah. Yeah. I always look forward to you coming in. And on that happy note, I'm going to whisk you away from these people and have you all to myself.
I feel like I want these people to be my friends. I like the way
They
you
will
guys
be.
operate.
They're subscribing to you already. You're going to start your own show. You'll see them in your chat, and they'll be your friend too.
All
I will
right.
share.
Well, like I said, there's not really any content on there, but feel free to find me on
Yes.
LinkedIn, and I promise you I'll put something, I don't know, something on my YouTube channel other than like waves and kids, because right now you're going to get a lot of Lake Michigan, I think.
Yeah. And I'm going to hold you to it.
All right.
All right. So on that note, thank you everybody for listening and watching and being my friend. And I will see you on the flip side.
Thank you.
Bye.